Welcome to episode 10 of the She Built This podcast. I'm Samantha Charwood, and today we are talking wearables. So, I don't have a wearable, and if you don't know what I mean by wearable, then a watch or an Aura ring or a Garmin or a Fitbit even. I don't even have a Fitbit, and I never have. I've never used one in all the time I've been exercising, all the time I have been competing at the British Championships. I have done 3 half marathons, numerous 10Ks, walked 2 marathons, done a sprint triathlon. So it's not just strength training. I've just never had one. And the older I get and the more into, I guess, perhaps a more holistic side of health, or coming back into this holistic side of health, the more mildly ridiculous they become. Now, I totally get it that if you are a performance athlete and you want to check that you are hitting particular milestones, particular things, then it's really, really useful information. The sort of information that you used to only be able to get in a laboratory or from going to a specific sports environment or a sports village that you now have on your wrist. Now, I 100% get that. What I think the danger can be with them is that we get a little bit obsessed with the tracking, that we get a little bit tied up in all the data that it gives us, which is fabulous and really interesting. But my question is, how does it actually change your behavior? Because for me, I'm not motivated by a watch wanting me to, inverted commas, complete my rings or close my rings. I'm just simply not. That's not the person I am. And maybe you are, I don't know. But also, until it does something with that data other than alert me to the data, I'm kind of a bit like, and so you didn't sleep very well. All that's done is slightly, you wake up, you look at your watch. I've got so many friends who do this, and I go away with them and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what? Like, oh, I didn't sleep very well last night. I'm like, oh, how'd you know? My watch told me. Oh, okay, well, I kind of woke up once in the night and felt I was okay. And, now I feel a little bit tired, but I'm all right. Like we're kind of losing that a little bit maybe. And so you have the idea that we kind of lean on that data, but then all it does is just basically tell you didn't sleep well. Okay, what do you do with that data? How are you going to, you can't go back and go, okay, well, now I'm going to go and sleep better. You maybe can clean up your sleep hygiene, put certain behaviors into, to practice that improve that. But does it actually, like, is it really following through? And so until such time as maybe you have a watch that, based on the information that it's gaining from you, adjusts certain things that happen automatically. And I mean, think of it in the future where it updates your barista order as you walk into Costa or whoever, local independents, hopefully, and it already knows that you need a double espresso because the last night was shocking. So, or that your gym programming is naturally updated through the HRV result that you get from the information that it's already gained, and it knows that you're coming down with a slight virus, and so it's adjusted your gym plan. That's a different thing, right? Or your food order, or your chef, if you want, is updated based on the energy expenditure that you spent yesterday, and that you probably need a little bit more fuel, or what your protein, targets are, what your protein, even what your makeup is, and how much you need. That it automatically takes that next step, which probably isn't that far in the future. If I'm honest, it probably isn't. It probably exists somewhere already. But right now, if we're just using that data that we're getting, what are we doing with it? And maybe you are that person that when you look and go, oh, I've closed my rings for 3 days, and this day is going to be, I need to get out and do my steps, otherwise I'm not going to close my rings. Maybe that's you. It's not me. And certainly if it was me, I would become obsessed with it. And actually, I also think it perhaps takes, because perhaps the reason you haven't closed your rings is because you've had a really, really stressful day at work. Perhaps the reason you haven't closed your rings is because you had to sit with your child for a little bit longer and go through their reading with them, or perhaps you had to sit with an elderly parent, or you had to take your dog to the vet, or there's so many other things that then having this watch go, you didn't close your rings, just to me feels like, really? What are we not listening to when we're taking external data that doesn't have full context on your life, that doesn't have full context on your nervous system, that isn't taking into account your feelings, the other pressures that are going on in your life? And so for me, it's just a little step too far. It's just a little nudge that, a bit like, it reminds me a little bit of this mild obsession we had back in the day with overpronation, with Nike selling us trainers that we actually didn't really need. And then we've kind of gone full circle, and we have a whole range of trainers that vary from having absolutely no anything in them, your Vibram Five Fingers to your Hokas, to all, and they are useful to a degree. And one of the very best runners that I ever treated used to rock up, and he was running 20 miles in about 2 hours. And so, because he used to joke, like, he'd come in for an appointment and he'd say, yeah, I just popped out this morning and did my run, got out at about 6. I'm like, oh, okay, got my 20 miles in, came back, had breakfast, went to work. Oh, okay. What, 20 miles didn't take you half of the day? No, it took him 2 hours. And so we got into a conversation about where he got his trainers from, and he used to get them from Sports Direct and spend 30 quid on them. He just needed something to cover his feet because he was built for running. It was absolutely, and sometimes there's a little bit of that. And so sometimes I think that we can lead into, and with trainers, it's great, and they are useful, particularly the higher end up in sport you get. And there are many things that contribute to helping athletes to perform better. And then when we're looking at normal, runners going out, wanting to do a nice 10K, then it applies perhaps in a slightly different way. That's all I would say. And then when you look at the data that you're getting back from your watch, my query is, first, are we overriding our own intuition and our own ability to read cues and signals that the body is giving us? And then also, is it just adding another layer of pressure to something that we simply don't need adding to? Because if that's the case, then they're not really doing the job that they set out to do, which is to make your life easier, I guess, or to help you perform better. And when you look at it, having a coach or having somebody who can see the full spectrum of your life, of taking the data and looking and going, okay, yes, I see that. Now let's make a behavior change to adjust the information that we're getting or to have an impact on the data. So it's not just more data. It's not just, I didn't close my rings for 5 days. Okay, why didn't you close your rings for 5 days? Because you've had a really, really stressful week at work. And actually, although you didn't this is another, I used to get this all the time when I would think, oh, I haven't really moved much all day. I've been standing all day, but I haven't been for a walk. We did this challenge actually once in Active Potential where we did Movember. I don't know whether anyone remembers that. It was, I think it was like 2019. And we did the whole of November where we tried to get 10,000 steps or more a day. And I wore one of these old school pedometers and literally just whacked it on my belt. And I struggled to make 5,000 steps a day without really trying. My arse didn't touch the seat once during the day, but I was standing up all day long, but not actually walking. And so, yes, I had been standing up all day, working really hard. And then I'd be like, oh God, I've got to go for a walk now because, and there are lots of benefits to that. Don't get me wrong, like lots of benefits to actually making you go outside and walking. But also there was this added pressure, and I don't necessarily feel that it was always helpful. And I do think there is just need to be careful that if you are relying on a wearable to dictate what you should be doing, please, please take into account all the other factors. Take into account how well you ate, how, what else is going on with you. Are you also under quite a lot of stress? Do you really need to close your rings? Do you really need to actually just sit and listen to what's going on in your body and listen to that internal voice, that internal cue of how do I feel? Do I need to move now or do I need to rest now? And anyone who's been in my world for a while will know about the SAM training method where we do state, activation, then movement. So we check in with our state, we do an activation sequence, and then move from there. So sometimes we check in again after an activation. So maybe you are just feeling a little bit sluggish and you do need to change something about your central nervous system that's going on with you, and you just need to shake off something and then you'll move. Or sometimes it's like, do you know what? No, I'm just tired. So my challenge for you, I suppose, is to maybe put it down for a couple of days and see if anything changes. If you are, inverted commas, addicted to your watch or your data that comes through, what happens if you don't have it? And if you aren't and you just enjoy it, then please carry on. Of course, there are many things that it's fun for, and but I won't be getting one anytime soon, and I will carry on listening to my body, listening to the internal cues, taking the external cues, and just going on whether I had a good night's sleep or not by whether I'm waking up feeling refreshed or whether I'm waking up feeling a bit snappy and heading as fast as I can towards the coffee machine. I hope you enjoyed that episode, and please do let me know how you get on with your wearable and what you use it for, and if you have any intentions of giving it up. Till next time, speak soon.